I got dumped. I was about 23 years old, I think, and I was broken up with. Now, I was the girl who I never experienced anything like this before. I've ignored red flags, smelled the smoke, and still walked right into the fire. If you've done the same, you're in the right place. Let's get started. I firmly believe that you have to earn the right to speak into someone's life. So before I start giving advice about relationships, boundaries, discernment, all of the things, I think it's only fair to tell you about why I care so deeply about these topics. Because the truth is that you don't know me from Adam. I need to take you back to the beginning. So I'm one of three girls. I'm the middle child. I have a Jamaican mother, so I was raised with the no-nonsense, immigrant, got to do what I got to do mom, and my dad is from the United States. He was a military kid, so he moved around a lot. So I was raised by tenacious people. When I look back, I realized that my parents were strong, and they naturally just taught myself and my sisters to be tough. They set an example through their own way of responding to life. So I grew up in Delaware in the suburbs, and I went to a Christian school from preschool through 8th grade. So I was very sheltered and had no idea how the world really was functioning outside of the way that I grew up. I was reading when I was 3 years old. I loved to learn, and my mother taught me because I always was asking for my dad to read the paper, the comics to me. So she just got to the point where she said, you know what, that's it. I'm just going to teach her how to read. And I mean, I could just eat books. I loved to learn. When I was in the first grade, I won what was called the Christian Character Award at the school that I went to, which was a prestigious award. At 6 years old, that's saying a lot. You know, out of all the kids in the class, all the teachers, everybody that we interacted with, all agreed that I was the best behaved and the most exemplary of Christian behavior. So I was going places, you know. I had some things to do, honey. I wanted to become a filmmaker, I decided in high school. I'm going to go to Hollywood. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I ended up getting involved with selling Cutco. After learning the tricks of the trade, I got really good at that. I sold a lot of Cutco, and I even became a sales manager. Years later, I bought my first home at 26 years old. I think anybody that would meet me, I came across like someone who had it all together. So from the outside, it looked like I was doing everything right. There was an area of my life that I was completely unprepared. And I found that that area always evolved around relationships. I was lacking discernment. I didn't have strong boundaries. I could be too nice. I didn't realize it at the time because I always had a more like a no-nonsense personality, but it came out with relationships. I believe that loyalty meant that you should stay and stick it out no matter the circumstances. And the first relationship that I had is what changed everything, which brought all of this out of me. I got dumped. I was about 23 years old, I think, and I was broken up with. Now, I was the girl who I never experienced anything like this before. It's not like my life was perfect, but at that point, up to that point in my life, anything I really wanted and I put effort into it, it would come to fruition. I could work harder. I could, navigate my way through things. I could get knocked down and try again. With this relationship, I got broken up with, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And looking back, it was the catalyst to these unhealthy patterns coming out of me. I knew that something was wrong, and like I said, I love to learn, so I started searching. And I would go on YouTube. I would soak up whatever the pastor was saying at church. I would ask advice from older women or men. It didn't matter. Just asking people for advice. I would read books. I was searching everywhere. I tried different therapists and I wasn't able to crack the code. I just wasn't able to stop these patterns, and I felt like a moth to the flame. And I'm sure that you can relate to me. It felt like I couldn't stop myself from making these terrible decisions. It all came to a head when the unhealthy patterns, they caught up with me and I ended up having a major breakdown. At this point, I was 36. So now I was a grown woman and it all caught up to me. And notice I said this started when I was in my 20s. So now here I was, 36 years old, and I went through a major betrayal at the hands of people that I never imagined that I couldn't trust these people. And I'll get into that later. Never in a million years did I think I couldn't trust them. But I was betrayed. By the grace of God, Abba had already put this great therapist in my life. Her name is Susan. She was the first therapist who really wouldn't take no for an answer. And she would call me on the bluff, honey. She would call me on the bluff and she would tell me when I was wrong. And we would go back and forth. I'm like, no, Susan, that's not true. Oh, no, it was true. And so after I would meet with her over the phone, because she lived in Florida, I was in New Jersey. After I would have these sessions with her, Abba would come and deal with me. And he would open my eyes so I could understand what Susan was trying to teach me. And it's like the floodgates just opened up. I was having light bulb moment after light bulb moment, and I started to change. Finally, I was cracking the code. At the end of the day, everything she was teaching me, I ended up developing discernment. I realized that my discernment was way off. She taught me about boundaries. I thought I had boundaries. Oh, no. Susan helped me to understand, no, I didn't. I learned that I was codependent. What? Me? Codependent? I bought my first home at 26. I was independent. I did what I had to do. Robbed Peter to pay Paul. All legal behavior. I was a Christian woman. But you could have knocked me over with a feather. It's the kind of stuff I was arguing with her about. What do you mean I'm codependent? Oh, please. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, she did. I was a people pleaser. Me? People pleaser. I had a script from childhood that I didn't think I was important. What? Honey. But the Lord opened my eyes to truly receive what she was teaching me. I ended up developing this discernment, and finally I was given a roadmap. My GPS was on, and it all started coming together, and all the pieces of the puzzle were there. So now I actually could piece the puzzle together. So the reason that this podcast exists is because I want to fully redeem my regrets. And I want for no one else to spend all the years that I spent searching for answers that no one was able to really help me. Or what I found is people would tell me things, but I didn't have the filter. I didn't have the it was like they were speaking a different language. I couldn't fully absorb what they were telling me because everything was going through this haze, this filter from things I'd picked up along the way. And Susan helped me to take my glasses off, get them clean, put them back on so I actually could see clearly. I was flying blind all those years. I want to help women to avoid unnecessary pain and mistakes. I will tell the truth, but with compassion, but no coddling, because the coddling doesn't help us to change. Okay? Oil doesn't come from the olive unless it's pressed. And I'm here to speak the truth in love, sister to sister. I'm here to teach you about boundaries, about discernment. I want to help women to gain their confidence back to gain your dignity back, because I realized after making all these terrible decisions, I had lost my dignity. There's so much a person can take. I want to also help women to understand the role of the Lord in all of this and what he wants for his daughters. There's just so much to say about this and so much to unpack. In closing, I want to leave with you that painful lessons don't define us, they refine us. And it is my hope, my wish, my prayer that all of these mistakes that I've made can be redeemed through other women learning, getting out of the pit quicker, or completely avoiding all the nonsense and the foolishness that I had to go through to get to the other side. If today's episode encouraged you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.